Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can use Kill Squad LaLo here at Townhall 14 to 3-star any base. So here is the army composition we are going to be using today, and as you know, it's Kill Squad LaLo, so there's no queen charges involved in this. We're going to go heavy with our initial push into the base, trying to get as much value from our heroes as possible, and the LaLo is going to clean everything else up. So let's jump in and we'll break it down. So the first thing we're going to be doing when we're attacking a base similar to this with loads of different compartments or a town hall close to the outside of the base is we're going to identify the compartments that have key defenses that we want to try and take down with our kill squad. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, if you've been at Town Hall 13, 14, whatever for a while, scatter shots, they are deadly against many different armies, and LaLo is certainly one of those. They can cause some issues, so we're always looking to try and take down the scatter shots if possible. We're also looking to get rid of the clan castle troops. We definitely want to try and deal with them, and then whatever other value we can get is going to be of benefit. So the first thing we're going to do is identify where we can get the most amount of value from our flame flinger. It's going to be coming in here against the scatter shot of this top section of the base. Now of course we do have to be careful because ground expos as well as mortars, as we could see right there, are able to lock on to our flame flinger, so we do need to be careful. That's why we had that early freeze build, just trying to protect our flame flinger for a little bit, but it should have enough HP that it can deal with this entire top compartment, and then we can start thinking about the rest. So next up we have the ice golem coming out in front. That's going to freeze everything up just for a little bit, allow our king and our queen to start making some progress into the base. The king's job down here is to deal with this entire bottom section of the base, including that second scatter shot. Queen is funneled up here by the use of that baby dragon, and we see the clan castle troops appearing. Now at Town Hall 14 you can have a real range of clan castle troops coming out. You can have things like ice golems here, which of course will freeze up our queen, potentially causing her some issues against the single target inferno that is in there. We also sometimes have the furnaces, or we have the super minion combination coming out with headhunters. Stuff like that is things you may need to be careful of, but as always we have the poison spell, so we can bring that in to help us deal with some of those defenses. But if we zoom out, the flame flinger has already done its job at that top section of the base. We have a dragon rider and balloons actually coming out of there. My personal preference sometimes is to see super minions coming out of that. They hold their range for a good while and they're able to get value from afar, but regardless, we're going to keep going with this attack. Unfortunately for us, that queen unable to get either of those remaining inferno towers, but it's not the end of the world. We do have lots of our LaLo still to go. Pushing in now towards that town hall, which of course we have not yet dealt with. We have to be super careful. Those balloons raged up will get through that town hall, but be careful of that poison spell. Ideally we don't want to drag too many of our balloons through that part of the base, because they will just get eaten alive by that poisonous bomb left by the town hall. But we do have enough balloons left up on the back end of this one, as well as our ice hound and lava hound to push through and bring in that 3-star. So we'll talk a little bit more in depth about the LaLo itself in the next couple of replays, but I'd like to take this time while we've got some cleanup going on to remind you guys we do have a Discord server now for the channel. It's a constantly growing Discord server. We have lots of events, tournaments and giveaways over there. You can also increase your level the more active you are on that Discord server to give you better odds in those giveaways if that's something you are interested in. The link for that, as always, is down in the description, just below the army link for today's strategy. But there is that 3-star coming in, beautifully done, plenty of cleanup there, and the first 3-star on the board. So slightly more centralized town hall coming in here with the double inferno tower, the double multi inferno tower should I say, the one single. And again, it's a tricky base, something you might find when you are trophy pushing. So it's important to try and identify where you can get the most amount of value from. So we're kicking off this one, coming in with our heroes from that top section of the base, looking this time to deal with that town hall. We have the flame flinger coming in over from this left hand side of the base, again potentially identifying that scatter shot down there. But let's see, what our heroes can do for us here. Again, be careful of the clan castle troops, whatever may come out of them. Potentially it may need some support for your heroes, but that's why we have the ice golem in there. It's going to help freeze things up so we don't take too much damage. Remember, we have the king's and queen's abilities, which will of course help them to get through whatever part of the base you're looking for them to take down. So we've got the top section and the left section dealt with at the moment. There's that king's ability. We have the spiky ball, which of course, as always, is incredibly powerful, getting so much value in there. And now the royal champion also going to be making an appearance from that left hand side of the base, encountering a pretty early Tesla farm in there. So we decide to drop down that rage spell as well as bringing in an earthquake spell, because we are looking desperately here to get rid of that scatter shot, which we do manage to do. The royal champion coming in clutch there with the combination of the rage spell, the earthquake spell, and of course her equipment, which was that rocket spear. So we completely wipe out that entire top left hand side of the base. The flame flinger actually somehow still alive, but now we're going to get going with our LaLo. So when we're approaching a base with LaLo, what we want to make sure we are doing is trying to make sure we have a clear path for our LaLo to follow. If we still have defenses spread out all over the base, i.e. there was still some over here in these compartments, our balloons will have a tendency to split up. And because of the particular spells we bring, the rage spells, the heal spells, whatever, we want to make sure we are trying to maximize the amount of value we can get from the balloons. So as you can see, we're dropping them down in groups of 4 to 5 at a time, trying to take out defenses and keep the majority of our troops funneled into the areas we want them. We were super early with that first rage spell. Keep an eye on your troops. Freeze up things like scatter shots, multi-target infernos, even wizard towers that are potentially going to cause you some issues, and you're going to be seeing lots of 3 stars with some swag spells on this particular one. Sparky bringing in a very nice 3 star there. So LaLo for the longest time has been an incredibly strong strategy, and nothing has changed. In fact, it's probably gotten even stronger with all of the new pieces of hero equipment. But we do have time for one more example, so let's jump in and take a look. So here we are with that third and final example, a centralized Townhall base coming in on this one with only 1 multi-target inferno and 2 single target infernos. Again, approaching things the exact same way, identifying where that scatter shot is over there on that right hand side, and there's one over on the left hand side. So we have our flame flinger with the help of that freeze spell to get through the mortar, coming in initially to deal with this right hand side compartment. King and queen this time again looks like they're going to be going in for that town hall. Now you might ask, when do I go for the town hall, when do I not go for the town hall? Well, in that first example, the town hall was so easily accessible, we knew we could easily get it with our LaLo, and it would continue to help with the funneling. Whereas in some of the other examples, like this one for example, our LaLo would probably have a difficult time getting that town hall, and if they did get it, they would probably all end up driving right through the poison that was left from it. So it's always better if you can get it with your heroes when it's more centralized. When it's close to the outside, you can just include it as part of your LaLo pathing. Hopefully that makes sense. King's ability going to get popped off right there with the spiky ball coming out. Again, we have got that CC lured, which is exactly what we're looking for. We have also dealt with the scatter shot over on that left hand side of the base. The royal champion used in tandem again with the earthquake spell to get through it nice and quickly with the help of that rocket spear. Invisibility spell going to be coming down on our heroes there, securing that town hall, and they can just get whatever other value they can possibly grab. That is going to be helpful. The LaLo for us here though does have a pretty tricky time ahead of it. We still have the entire core section of the base, including the Eagle artillery, so we do have to be careful. This one not going to be as smooth sailing as potentially some of the other ones because of the awkward layout we are facing here. But we do come in with that early Eternal Tome, protecting against some of those initial defenses, freezing up the Eagle artillery, trying to mitigate some of the damage that we're potentially facing, as well as the Grand Warden. Remember, when it comes to enemy heroes, the enemy queen, royal champion, minion prince, and grand warden can all shoot at your balloons, so we do have to be super careful. The enemy king is the only hero who is not going to target air-based troops. So they are basically mini walking air defenses, so you will always need to keep an eye on them. Don't just forget about them, don't leave them unchecked, but 9 times out of 10 when you've got your cleanup coming through, we have the lava pups, the ice pups, we have the minions in there as well, the Grand Warden of course himself, as well as his Electro Owl. Hopefully they will help just take down those heroes as you progress through the base. Another thing to note, we have 4 headhunters in this, which I haven't actually spoke about. When you drop your Eternal Tome ability, drop any remaining headhunters into that ability so they're fully protected and hopefully can go through and take down some of those enemy heroes. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Don't forget to join the Discord, leave a like on the video, let me know in the comments if you're going to try out this strategy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.